This podcast is part of the GonnaGeek network. The opinions expressed may not represent other podcasts or affiliates of GonnaGeek. Check out more podcasts at GonnaGeek.com and get ready because geekiness starts in 3, 2, 1.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. This podcast contains spoilers from Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
You have been granted clearance level 10. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents of equal or higher security clearance.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent StargatePioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Agent Lauren.
And with us today is a very, very special guest, the GonnaGeek collector himself, Chris Ferrell.
Hello.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. one-shot number 14, Guardians of the Galaxy. Woohoo, we're finally there. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the television show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the general Marvel Universe.
Because we are Groot.
I knew you were going to say that.
Awesome.
There was a couple others that I was considering, but then at the end I was like, yeah, just go with it.
Just a reminder, go to legendsofshield.com. That will bring you to our podcast page on the GonnaGeek.com network and find all our great contact information, including Chris. He's on the GonnaGeek network. So we also have a voicemail line.
Yes, we do. It's 844 the bus 1. That's 844-843-2871.
We also have a giveaway ongoing right now. All you need to do is send in a voicemail. So 844 the bus 1 about what is it again? I keep forgetting.
How SP is wrong.
Yes.
Really? Are we still on that?
Yes, we are.
I thought we agreed not to do that anymore.
We never agreed to any such thing.
We revoted and you still lost.
I figured it was just the royal we he was using.
Yeah, no.
I disagree.
You may disagree, but you are still wrong.
That is not true.
By disagreeing with us, you're wrong again.
Yeah.
Somebody help me out here. Somebody voicemail line and say I'm right.
I mean, you could call in SP's defense if you really wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Because as you know, SP is always wrong.
No, not always.
So call in your favorite SP is wrong moment, the wrongest SP is wrong moment, or the funniest SP is wrong moment. We will consider them all.
All right. So anyway, we have this badge. It has Coulson's identification card and a S.H.I.E.L.D. badge in it in a leather pouch. It's yours. Send in a voicemail and we will choose, I guess the girls will choose who the winner is based on funniness and accuracy of SP is wrong. So we all saw Guardians of the Galaxy, but before we get to the movie, a couple of things first. We actually have numbers. We're actually recording this on Saturday night, and the 4 of us have already seen it. Haley, you've seen it twice already?
Yes.
And the rest of us, I think, have only seen it once.
Correct.
Yep.
So Thursday night, it opened to $11.2 million. And Haley, what's the forecast for the rest of the weekend?
Right now, they're predicting 90 to 100 million for the opening weekend, which would be a new August debut record. Right now, the record holder is The Bourne Ultimatum at 69.3 million.
Is that the one with Jeremy in it, or is that...
No, that's the last of the Matt Damon ones.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah, especially considering that this was supposedly Marvel's big risk movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to talk about that in a second, Kevin Feige and everything. But it's exciting, and we'll see where it goes. I was definitely part of the Friday money there. I happened to be going by a theater and jumped on in. I was planning on seeing it today, but got to see it yesterday anyway. And so, Chris, you dug up an article on Easter eggs with Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
I did. There's some blink if you miss it moments that were in there. One of my buddies at work told me about it, but there's an article over on comicbook.com with some of the Easter eggs. And if you've seen the movie, you know there's a ton of 80s pop culture references. Mm-hmm. One that I completely missed is Quill's ship's called the Milano.
I can't believe you missed that. But then again, I was the only one in my theater who laughed when he said his ship's name. So either I went with a bunch of youngins or they were all just uncultured swine.
I'm just uncultured swine.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it.
Yeah, I immediately went there. I'm like, it can't be. It's got to be.
Of course.
Uh-huh.
It's like the what? And then I was the only one in the theater laughing at that moment.
And also, there's a reference to the Collector's Museum and everything in there.
There's all sorts of cool stuff in there. We saw some of that at the end of Thor: The Dark World.
A little bit.
Because we saw Adam Warlock's cocoon in the end of Thor: The Dark World.
Mm-hmm. We did. I don't think we saw Howard the Duck at the end of Thor, though.
No, they were saving that for something special.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, I saw a lot of the stuff that this article mentions in there. Like, when Cosmo showed up, I was like, yay!
That was
fantastic. And of course, we all saw the Dark Elf and the Chitauri. That was just fun.
There's a lot of people that are claiming they saw Beta Ray Bill. I never noticed him in there.
I didn't see him.
I'm going to be on my next couple of watch-throughs, because I'm going to have to see this one again a few more times. I'm going to be looking to see what else I can see.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that's there to be found, and I'm just waiting for like IO9 or some other site out there to put out their definitive Easter egg guide that they do for every Marvel movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Did y'all catch Nathan Fillion in the movie?
I did not. I
only knew because I'd read what he was supposed to be.
See, I didn't get the last three things on this list: the Lloyd Kaufman cameo, the Nathan Fillion cameo, and the Rob Zombie voice cameo. I didn't notice.
I'm wondering if Stan Lee's cameo was actually bigger and they cut it out again, or if it was meant to be that short and that non-speaking all the time.
I'm betting it was meant to be that short.
I'm betting so too.
All right. Well, that's the list, the comicbook.com list. And
did you guys hear who the voice of Howard the Duck was?
Yes.
No.
Seth Green.
I can't remember the site. Yeah.
Seth Green. That's perfect.
It's on IMDb now.
Okay.
That's it.
Good, because it wasn't on Thursday night.
Yeah, I read it on a website like Friday night, and I was like, who was it? I'm like, it's Seth Green. This is awesome.
Okay, so that explains a tweet that he made a couple of days ago. Okay, that explains a lot.
The rumor was that Nathan Fillion was originally offered the role for Howard the Duck, and he turned it down because he wants a bigger Marvel role at some point. Okay. So then they got Seth Green for it.
Awesome.
Okay,
That's
see,
I
honestly didn't hear any of Howard the Duck's dialogue, because at that point, I'd say about 80% of the theater stayed, and everybody was laughing too hard. I couldn't hear it at all.
Yeah, I don't think anybody left at the first showing for mine.
There were some people that took off in mine. I went to it was very early in the morning, actually. And so it was full of retirees and young kids and on summer break and that sort of thing. But mostly everybody stayed. It wasn't packed either. But what was kind of annoying, and maybe I'm just getting old and crotchety, there were two guys just a little bit older than me sitting across the aisle, and they were just talking the comic book references throughout the entire movie. It got a little bit annoying. Like, if you go to a movie, you can talk about the comic book references later, kind of like what we're doing here on the podcast.
I'm sorry, but that's me just constantly. I'm the one that talks in the theater. It's like, oh, this is a reference to that, and that's that, and oh my God, I can't believe this is about to happen. But then there were huge, long chunks of the movie where I was just so rapt that I shut up. So take that as you will for how into this movie I was.
I don't think any of the four of us knew what to expect as we're going into this movie. I mean, we were all like hoping for goodness, but we were like, maybe it's going to flop or something. It was good.
It was. Like I'd said on some of the other podcasts before, is that this is the first Marvel movie I went in to kind of live how the other half does. I had no idea what to expect because I've barely read any of the Guardians comics and things like that, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I haven't read any of the Guardians comics with this team.
I've read a few. Right now Comixology is actually having a sale, but I read the first arc of the Bendis ongoing.
That's all I've read.
Current ongoing. And I really, right now, the entire Abnett run is on sale at Comixology for $23. I think I'm going to have to pick this up.
So I only read the Prelude and the Conquest Annihilation. And the Prelude was a little misleading in some cases, which I discussed before on the podcast last week. I discussed it was a little misleading with Star Trek Into Darkness, with the pre-comics into that, with the female Harry Mudd. and we never actually saw a female Harry Mudd. I'm looking forward to that in Star Trek 3, by the way. You got to get Harry Mudd. You just got to get it. And if it's female, I'm good with that too, because there needs to be more female characters in Star Trek. Almost said Star Wars there. Bad on me.
That's because Guardians has a Star Wars feel.
Right.
Yes. I would not say no to more female characters in Star Wars either. And I'm very sorry if you hear me typing. I am buying this bundle right now as we speak.
I'm considering it myself right now.
So there was some things a little misleading, and I don't mind it. The actual story that we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy was better. Like, the story in the prelude said that the father came in and he actually died, Peter Quill's father. And
in the Bendis one, it was a little bit more in line with this one.
And then the gift was his father's gun instead of Awesome Mix number 2.
Well, yeah.
And I think Awesome Mix number 2 was a lot better. And I think that the abduction, when it happened, because like in the prelude, Peter Quill becomes an astronaut, and it really didn't make a great transition into Guardians of the Galaxy, but Iron Man's in there too.
Yeah.
It wasn't completely in line, but I liked the way the story did it better, because the mom dies and then he gets abducted right away. And everything that he has, when kids' parents die, they usually get like a suitcase or a backpack or whatever. That's usually what you see in movies. So he's got everything in his backpack anyway, and then he gets abducted. So he takes everything with him that he was going to take anyway. So that worked out well.
Yeah. In the Bendis run, it's a little bit more in line with this sort of like, his mom dies not of cancer, but she's murdered by aliens who are looking for his father.
Right.
And then he ends up, I think he still does become an astronaut and all that. But if you read the comics, you know who his father is. You know why he's called Star-Lord. You know why his mom's calling him Star-Lord in the movie.
That was great.
I loved it. I had to explain that to my husband because he's never read any Guardians of the Galaxy. And since I have only read a little bit leading up to this movie, I have not chattered at him incessantly about it.
I think it was great that the mom really shaped the whole plot really without knowing it. Well, I mean, whoever wrote it knew it, but the Awesome Mix tapes and the name Star-Lord and the fact that Peter needed to hold her hand to keep him based in the normal universe, depending on where else he was.
Connection was the whole key there.
Yeah, I think it was absolutely excellent.
Actually, the one of the co-writers is a female rocket scientist.
That's great.
Yeah. I can't remember her name right now, but I think IO9 or the Mary Sue had a really interesting article about her the other day.
Well, it was Marvel's next big jump. The first really big risk they took was the original Iron Man, and they didn't know what they were doing at that point in time, and it was just a huge risk, and hey, we'll see what we get, because comic book movies were very different before Iron Man, and now they are expected to get huge dollars. Well, Guardians of the Galaxy was the next evolution in that, because I would say after Iron Man and throughout the entire Avengers, you're going on really well-known characters, and they were able to do phase 1 absolutely great. Phase 2 now, you're interjecting this Guardians of the Galaxy, which nobody knew anything about, really.
Yeah, their three biggest things that I think they had to go on were a talking raccoon, and everyone was like, what the hell? It's a talking raccoon, because that's the first thing that everyone brings up. Chris Pratt, who I think is most well known for being like the idiot from Parks and Rec.
Yes.
Maybe at this point he's known for the Lego movie, but not really.
Yeah, and Zoe Saldana.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
And Avatar. Because Letterman was giving her a hard time when she was on there. Be like, do you just have to be in movies where you get painted now?
I really liked, somebody asked her about that, and she said that she thinks that women have, there's better women being written in science fiction movies than in just quote unquote regular movies.
That's probably true.
Yep.
I would have to say, though, that Kevin Feige actually pulled this one off, just like he did Iron Man. I think this is a success. We didn't know. I mean, we'll have to see the final numbers eventually, but
I think just based off the current numbers, you can say it's a success.
Yeah. It's
going to make its money back easily, and they've already greenlit the sequel. I mean,
yeah.
Good for Marvel. They took their chance and they won. I mean, and everyone, I'll be the first one to say, well, not the first one of many to say it. DC can't pull off a Wonder Woman movie, but Marvel's going to pull off a talking tree and raccoon.
There's been some excellent posts on Tumblr about that. where it's like DC, Wonder Woman's story is too complicated. Marvel, let's make a movie with a talking raccoon that shoots and a tree that talks and moves around and it takes place in space and no one's ever heard of these guys.
It still kills me to this day that Joss Whedon took on Wonder Woman's script to DC and they turned him down saying no one was interested in it. And then he went and did Avengers. And I'm like, bet if he went now, they'd say they'd do it.
They're kicking themselves so hard.
They have to. Absolutely.
Josh showed up at their door with a dump truck full of cash, and he was like, "Hey guys, want this dump truck full of cash?"
And they just lit it on fire like the freaking Joker.
They're like, "Nah," and he drove it over to Marvel.
Want to see the world burn.
Yep.
So the soundtrack. How many people have bought the soundtrack yet?
You can't see it, but my hand's in the air.
I was about to until you guys told me about the collector's or limited edition in the pre-show.
The deluxe edition.
That's it.
Okay, the thing is that I was looking because I was like, I need to listen to this right now when I was at work. Because all week long, I had a Mariah Carey song that I haven't heard in 15 years in my head. And I was like, I need to get this out of my head now. So I was thinking, well, I'll buy the awesome mix and I'll listen to it. But then I found out that there's a deluxe version of the soundtrack that also has, in addition to the awesome mix, the Tyler Bates instrumental soundtrack. And I love instrumental soundtracks. I like writing to, while I'm listening to them. But it's only in CD. That's how they get you. So I was going to go out and look for it today, except I kind of just hung around on the couch all day and watched CD and played video games.
You would have had to put on pants. Not worth it.
Pretty much.
I wonder if it's on Spotify or anything yet.
Yes, it is.
Okay. That could get me through until I actually buy it.
Well, I bought the album this morning, and I listened to it while I was getting around for work, and again a little bit more on my way to work and on my lunch break. So I've gone through the album about twice since I bought it.
Yeah, my Pandora Motown station is kind of filling that void at the moment.
Guess what, guys? I just went to Amazon.com, sorry, Canada, and it is on there. It's $14.88, so it's not the $12 whatever, but it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, but it's still on CD and not, just...
Yes, absolutely. So Marvel and whoever else gets the money from the soundtracks.
You tricksy bastards.
They got my money. I bought both off of iTunes because I just had to have it now.
So Lauren will have to put on pants long enough to answer the door for the delivery guy.
No, you just let them deliver it, and then you open the door when they've left.
I was going to say, you don't need pants.
Pants are completely optional in life.
Unless you order pizzas.
Well, you can have them. What was that? The Hacker movie with Sandra Bullock? You can just have them.
Oh, no, The Net.
The Net.
Oh, my God.
You could just have them put the pizza and then slip them the money, under the door or something.
Or like in Home Alone.
That's true. There you go. See, there was ways around it. Lots of ways. I loved the 1980s Walkman with the orange foam ear pads. I mean, how authentic is that?
Just nostalgia. So much nostalgia.
Haley, do you even remember that?
Yes, I had cassettes, and the most unrealistic thing about the movie is that cassette would still play after 26 years.
I know.
It's been,
right?
There's some space magic keeping it in good shape. I don't know. Maybe he's got restoration abilities. I'm talking out my butt. I'm sorry.
So what was up with Peter, defending a frog? Was that to show that he's, the defender of all things or something?
I know that in the Bendis comic, and again, I'm pulling so much from the Bendis comic because it is up to this point, along with the Free Comic Book Day one, the only Guardians of the Galaxy book that I've read, there's some kids that are picking on this little girl, and he gets into a fight trying to defend her. And I'm guessing it's kind of the same thing, but yeah, just kind of show that, it's his pet the dog moment.
Yeah, there you go.
Establish that he's a decent person.
Shoot the dog, pet the dog moment. Yeah, and we actually have a dog in the movie.
Yes, we do. Cosmo.
Yay.
And he loves the collector.
Apparently. You let him kiss you on the mouth? Yeah, stay for the shawarma on this one. You get to hear Seth Green.
Spoilers.
I think we've thoroughly talked about that by now, so.
Yeah.
So what's up with Barit? I mean, she is just there for 2 scenes, and it's what?
You're supposed to get that he's a playboy.
He's like the space Tony Stark.
He's got pelvic sorcery.
Okay. So if the Iron Man trope runs true here, we're going to see Barit later come back in another movie, because every girl he sleeps with in Iron Man comes back later.
Oh, really? Only the one?
I don't know. Are we going to see the Lascavarian?
Oh, God.
That would be amazing, actually.
I did not In my comic book readings, I did not run into any mention, at least that I remember, of Yondu. So I had no idea who this guy was.
Well, Yondu you have here is different than the comic portrayal from what I've read
From what I've read,
smarter folks.
Yeah, James Gunn drew a lot on Michael Rooker's portrayal of Merle Dixon.
That's what I thought. It's like Blue Merle.
Yes,
it's Merle in space.
Yeah, that's basically it.
That
And
can control an arrow through whistling.
yeah, Peter Quill is his Daryl.
Kill like hundreds of
Yes.
guys.
Exactly.
That part was awesome, though.
That was awesome.
Throughout the entire movie, I'm like, why is everybody like really listening to this guy? And then he kills like whatever it was, 30, 40 guys with one arrow in like less than 5 seconds. It's like,
See, that was a good moment because they had me believing he was going to flip on Quill right there and just betray them all. And then that arrow of badassness, for lack of a better term, just comes out and takes care of everyone. I was like, whoa.
Well, Merle didn't have that awesome arrow, but he did have like the sword hand thingy. So
That's
pretty
true.
much the same.
Yeah.
absolutely. So at the beginning, what planet was the gem found on? I didn't remember the
Morag.
Morag. So what's up with Morag?
It looked to me like the home of some lost civilization.
Is that the planet that got destroyed at the beginning with the purple gem?
I think so.
With the 6 people using the power of the gems?
I believe.
No, like they showed a guy
No.
with the staff that had the purple gem, and he
Oh,
destroyed
yeah.
the planet.
Okay.
I would assume it's the same one.
Sounds good. So we hear a lot about the buyers for the orb throughout the movie. Were Yondu's and Gamora's buyer the same? Was it the collector or?
Yondu's buyer was the
Yeah.
middleman guy on
With the
Xandar.
fantastic eyebrows.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So Gamora's buyer was the collector directly.
Correct.
I think so, yes.
Okay. So I was just making sure that there wasn't anybody else out there that wanted the orb.
Oh, there's lots of people out there
There's
that want
lots of people who want it, yeah. But those two are the ones that Yondu and Gamora specifically were trying to get to.
So Gamora's quote unquote sister, it's the best way to call it, Nebula, Karen Gillan did an amazing job. And I just was totally into that character until at the very end when she's rushing out of the bridge yelling at the guy to get out of her way. It kind of took me out of her character a little bit.
I still liked it. She was just through with everyone's nonsense.
Well,
Right.
the character was becoming unhinged near the end because everything
Yeah.
was starting to spiral out of control and she wanted her vengeance on Gamora. So she's becoming unhinged. She wants that vengeance and it's driving her.
I thought she was way scarier than Ronan.
Yeah, Ronan, okay. The one much as I love Lee Pace, like pushing daisies is just fantastic. But Ronan was like the weakest part of the movie to me. Also, we finally know what his space lingerie is.
We do. That was pretty nice.
He doesn't actually like to wear lingerie on his face. He just likes it to look like he is.
Yeah. That armor just kind of did nothing for me in terms of like it looks wise.
Yeah.
But it looked like it was straight out of the comic because that's
It
Ronan's
did look
armor in
straight out of the
comics.
comic. I know it looked straight out of the comic, but just it was not flattering on him. I mean, just from, shallow ogling point of view. I mean, blue I can handle, but like Karen Gillan pulls off blue fantastically.
Gee, imagine that. What, do you think it was TARDIS blue?
A little bit too light to be TARDIS
Yeah.
blue, I think.
There was patches of darkness in there.
Okay, I'll give you that.
It was like digital camo. I mean, it was square patches all over her body, right?
Well, she is a cyborg, so
Mhm.
just kind of patchwork Frankenstein thing going on.
Mhm.
Yeah, and just in regards to Ronan, just his theatricality just didn't really work for me. His motivation didn't really quite gel for me. Like, I know he's supposed to be the thing that brings everybody together, and he's a terrible person and everything, but I thought he was like the least interesting person in the movie. And every time he was on screen, I was just like, okay, can we get back to everyone else?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Since you bring it up, I was going to talk about this later, but it's good to talk about it right now. So one of the things about this movie is that nobody knew anything about any of this movie, right? So you would expect maybe a little origins rather than to jump you right into the middle of it. I think this is a little Star Wars-y that way, but you lose perspective on who these people really are. Who's Thanos, who's Ronan, who's Nova Corps. I mean, people that don't read the comics don't know anything about what's going on out there. And I think that might be one of the movie's failings, is that there was just no perspective. You had no identity with the characters themselves. The story is fine. The plot is great, but identification with the characters just it's not right totally there for me. What do you guys think?
I think they did a fantastic job with like the actual main characters.
Like some of the ancillary characters, maybe not as much.
Yeah, their focus was on
and-
the Guardians, not necessarily on the villains and things like that.
On the villains and the world and stuff like that.
They have and they don't have the advantage the Avengers had, where they had 4 solo movies to introduce all these characters.
Mm-hmm.
They had to try and introduce these guys in the middle of the story and keep things flowing, and I think they did a really good job with the Guardians. So I think it's a little more understandable that some things fall through the cracks. And to be fair, we have met Thanos already.
Yeah. I think they made you care about the characters, but not necessarily the larger world.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bunch of like deleted Nova scenes on the Blu-ray when it comes out.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's a ton of deleted scenes that are out there that we'll get. She
was good. Nova Prime, that is.
Yes.
Right.
She was definitely good. Especially the first time we see her, she's on the hailer with the ambassador, the Kree ambassador, and they hang up after she tries to sway him to have the Krees denounce what Ronan is doing, and she hangs up and then she goes, prick. Was it prick or dick? I can't
I think
remember.
it was prick.
Prick.
Yeah.
Yeah, she goes, prick. That was instantly, I was like, I like her.
Yeah.
So we see several different fights throughout the entire movie, about 5 different kind of fight scenes. You got the one on Morag, and then you've got the one in the market square, or whatever you want to call it, where you've got Groot, Rocket,
Gamora.
Star-Lord, and Gamora going at it. That was funny to watch.
That
after.
was. Just watching everybody at cross purposes and everybody getting in each other's way.
Learn genders, man.
And then at the end, they all get arrested.
Yeah. Yep.
You know,
Fascist.
a perfect drinking game for this movie was every time someone gets electrocuted and twitches.
Yes.
There's Haley, always looking for the drinking game.
You got to keep an eye open for these things.
So the next fight that we see is at the prison, and there's a lot to talk about at the prison, but
That really
the
is.
prison was, if you remember what I said, the 17 minutes. There was a lot in the prison that was not included in those 17 minutes.
See, I was wondering when the 17 minutes actually ended.
Yeah, that whole scene where they actually meet Drax was not included. Gamora's like near death there, not included. It was them getting like checked into the prison, that first encounter with that giant, inmate, and then the escape plan.
I have a plan.
The giant inmate BTW, Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, I know this now.
Got to go see it again, right?
Yes.
It's a good reason.
Naturally.
Yes. So we did a kind of informal poll before we started recording about who caught the Nathan Fillion cameo and who didn't. And about half of us did.
You really have to think about it because you're expecting to see him there physically and not just get a voice.
Uh-huh.
And it's not
That
even
was what I was
recognizably
expecting.
his voice.
When you see Peter Quill and Rocket, especially after they got doused with the orange stuff.
I told you, the delouser.
Yeah, the delouser. And first of all, that is your shirtless Chris scene
Yes.
in the movie and caused me to go directly from the movie to the gym. Because if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, all the Gamora and Nebula scenes caused me to go home and eat pizza. Actually, no, I ate an entire burrito about the size of a baby. So
Well, if you're Nebula, it doesn't matter what you eat. Your stuff that they throw in your body is going to take care of everything for you. So it doesn't really matter.
do you think she even eats? I mean, she's a cyborg. What if she has like a replacement stomach? And maybe she just like eats intravenously? I mean,
think she just
like,
needs batteries.
Darth Vader apparently ate intravenously.
He did.
So,
It was the only way he could get his food.
Also, he pooped in a bag.
Ew. I didn't need to know that.
Yeah, the Dark Lord of the Sith's really not that badass once you start realizing what all his medical problems were.
Well,
Yeah.
it
yeah,
explains
they're
why
kind
he's
of
so
bad.
angry.
Yeah, there's this whole, it's actually a really good book called, I think, Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader, and it takes place just after episode 3, and the book is basically about how angry Vader is, that his armor is, like, terrible, because Palpatine got him, like, the crappy armor.
He did it on purpose, too.
Yeah, just
Oh,
to
that's
piss
neither
him
here
off.
nor there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was just going to go in a bad place there. But
Do you think Thanos got Nebula, the good cybernetics?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, I have read the comics on that part. And yes, Nebula was well taken care of.
Yeah, he's not afraid of her. He's
Yeah.
not
So
afraid
does
of anyone, really.
Thanos just keep a kid from every planet he conquers?
Because that's really how it seems. It's like, like some people collect shot glasses. And he collects like little orphan children of his own making.
Yeah, and loans them out when he needs to too. Also, everybody needs a code name. It's not that weird to have a code name.
Relax, Star Pie. It's cool to have a code name. It's not that weird.
It's Star Prince.
Sure it is.
Oh, subject 89P13. That was interesting. I hadn't seen that in the comics.
Poor Rocket.
I know. And
I know, just everything with Rocket and Groot just melted my cold, dead
That's
little heart.
The ultimate buddy cop movie right there. Would be Rocket and Groot.
I would have liked to seen their origin story. I would. And we didn't get it really, but maybe we'll get it in the future. Who knows?
I just want to see them being bros around the galaxy.
So Groot at the very end does the wonderful quote, Haley.
We are Groot.
I was in tears. I knew he was going to come back, but still.
And he saves everybody. And yes, he does come back. But I have a question. How does Rocket know which part of him to save?
It's just anything.
You can save any piece, he's good.
So he can actually kind of repopulate his species by just breaking it apart and regrowing.
I think he only comes back as himself, only once.
Oh.
You can take one shard and plant it, and it comes back as Groot, and then the other ones are inactive, for lack of a better term.
It's kind of like if you rip Wolverine in half, he doesn't grow into two separate Wolverines.
I was thinking about that Rocket and Wolverine are very similar because of the experimentation that was done on them.
Yes. And this is why Rocket is also very bad-tempered.
But I actually like one of them. That's the difference between Rocket and Wolverine.
They're about the same size.
About the same amount of body hair.
Actually true.
But Rocket had those, we see when he's getting deloused, he had those little mechanical, inserts.
Slugs.
And what are they for?
It's where they put them back together, I think.
Yeah, from science.
He was hooked into machines or something, I guess.
When I saw him, I thought of the Matrix. You know how they had those plugs?
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's a good parallel.
All right. Because we never see him actually plugged into anything. But the raccoon is amazing with technology. He could beat Tony Stark in putting something together with scrap in a cave.
Well, raccoons are clever little things. I mean,
they like shiny
have you ever
stuff.
seen them? Have you ever seen them figure out how to open a trash can? They're smart.
What's a raccoon?
That's what you are.
I'm taking orders from a hamster.
Oh, Gamora, I'm surrounded by idiots and I'm gonna die.
No, I'm gonna die surrounded by idiots.
Oh, there you go.
By the biggest idiots in the galaxy.
This movie was so quotable.
I know. I'm 80% of my notes are just quotes.
So, Haley, run through some of your favorite quotes from the movie.
Well, actually, my favorite moment from the entire movie is when Rocket says, "Oh, boo hoo hoo, my wife and child are dead." And then Groot's little, "Oh, no, you didn't," gasp.
Yes, that was good.
Yes. They basically reminded me of R2 and 3PO.
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking that Groot might have been put in a Jar Jar Binks, but he wasn't.
No,
he was
he's
so much
Chewie.
more effective.
He's Chewie.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's a better comparison. Han and Chewie, if Han was, a little 2-foot-tall raccoon.
Which right now might not be too far from the truth. The man's got a broken leg.
But he's off the crutch
apparently
now.
he's off the crutches.
Yep.
Okay. Is he using a walker now? I know.
No.
He's just walking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep on going, Harrison. We want to see you in the movie.
That guy right there. I need his prosthetic leg.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And then at the end, we need that guy's eye.
No,
really,
we
I
don't.
need it. I need
And he's just trying to snicker. I just want to see it happen.
No, seriously, I need it. It's important to me.
But what if I want something more than somebody who already has it? No, but
I wanted more. What if I find somebody irksome and I rip out their spinal cord?
There's just so
That's
many
actually
great quotes in
murder.
this.
I cannot see him and not go Talladega Nights.
Yeah, when they said John C. Reilly was playing a member of the Nova Corps, my first thought was, what?
Shake and bake.
Yeah, just when I see John C. Reilly, I don't think Nova. But he was really fun in this movie.
He had some good quotes of his own too. I mean,
Yeah.
the best was when he calls and they give the message, and then Quill's like, "Oh, they got my dick quote."
No, they got my dick message.
Dick message. That's it.
Well, what do you think? Is it true? When Nova Prime was asking him, it's like, well,
I don't think anyone's really 100% of a
100%
dick.
dick.
no, can we trust him? Well, yeah.
Oh, by the way, Peter Serafinowicz, the guy who in the commercial is like, what a bunch of a-holes. That is the voice of Darth Maul from episode 1. Also, he's been in just like a bunch of TV shows. And if you watched Look Around You on Cartoon Network, he was on that. And yeah, he's a really fun like actor and comedian.
You know, at first, Drax's literal dialogue, it was kind of missing the mark a little bit for me. But then once you get used to it, near the end of the movie,
goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast.
I will catch it.
And then when they're discussing the 12% of the plan, he's like, well, when did we establish this? And Peter's
like 3 seconds ago.
Oh, I was thinking of something else.
I was
That's what he said. Okay. Again, my theater is that. Okay. Another reason I need to see this like 5 more times. My theater was just laughing too hard for me to catch some of the dialogue.
Yeah, I actually missed his metaphor he made because people were laughing so loud.
Oh, I've got it. Finger to the throat means death.
Yes.
Metaphor.
So it was great that Rocket made the Watchtower into a spaceship, basically. But I have to kind of scratch my head over the guards. Why did they fire not all at once?
I thought they were trying to weaken each of the windows first. Because if you notice, each one hits a different window. And then they were going to hit it just...
I thought the same thing. And I was like, well, the suspension of disbelief. If this is the first time I have to do it, I'm okay.
All right. Well, that was kind of cool seeing the Watchtower running around as a spaceship. Really gets you into Rocket and what he's capable of doing at that point in time. Okay, Nowhere.
Yes.
A severed head of an ancient celestial...
It's a celestial.
Yes.
Okay, define that for me, please.
Basically, they're space gods.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, before the universe was created, maybe? Like with the Dark Elves and the...
No.
It was Jack Kirby's big thing, if I remember. I don't know much about the Celestials other than the fact they're like godlike beings. And they started to bring them into the Fantastic Four books in the Future Foundation recently.
Yeah, and there's that giant one standing in San Francisco not doing anything in X-Men.
Was it from New Gods? Is that what it was? Jack Kirby's New Gods?
I think so.
I don't know a ton about it, but they brought some of it back, and there's talk that Franklin Richards might be the next version of the Celestials, for instance, in the comics, because he's so inherently powerful.
You know who else who's powerful in the Marvel Universe? Kevin Bacon.
Feige. Oh.
Well, you got it almost right with Kevin.
Right. Well, I mean, this is his big shot to come back. He was Sebastian Shaw. He's dead now. But now he can come back as himself.
That would actually be amazing. They come back to Earth and abduct Kevin Bacon.
That would be.
And basically it's like Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, a little bit. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Kevin Bacon and then the famous outlaw John Stamos.
Who put the sticks up their butts?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of stuff that I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe. And quotable lines that, Quill, your ship is filthy. That if I turn on a black light, I didn't get to hear this place will look like a Jackson Pollock painting.
That one was fantastic.
Because I screeched.
Another one of my favorite ones is doing the whole suicide mission pledge, and at the end when Rocket finally stands up, he goes, "Great, now you have me standing. We're all standing up. Bunch of jackasses."
Standing in a circle.
So a couple of questions about the Collector here. So Karina, she of course causes the explosion by trying to handle this orb or the Infinity Stone directly.
Yes.
And I really didn't. This is again me not really buying into the universe, I guess, from the beginning. I didn't really understand why she really wanted to be out of her position so badly.
Because she's a slave?
Yeah.
And at any moment he could put her in a case.
Oh, I got that part, but I mean, we only see her actually working once, and he goes through the whole elbow thing. Other than that, we really don't see how it's so bad.
Because you see the previous worker being tortured in a cage.
Okay.
She basically saw her chance to try and get out and took it. I mean, what better way to get out than to take one of the 6 most powerful gems in the universe and
Yeah, and the whole thing is it's the power gem. And she has literally no power. So, of course, she wants it.
Is this power or space?
Power, I think.
Okay.
That was another question I had. And then another question I had was, isn't the Tesseract in there?
The Tesseract's an infinity gem in the cinematic universe.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't it in...
No,
that one's in Odin's vault.
Yeah, Odin
it's
has
in
that.
The
Odin's
collector
vault.
has the ether.
Oh. So, yeah, what happened to the ether? Is it still safe?
I think so.
I
I
hope
would
Yeah,
so.
assume
it's
it's
still
still
there
there.
somewhere.
All right. Just making sure it didn't get out during the explosion, although I suppose that could happen.
I would assume he's got it in an explosion-proof container.
I would hope so.
It seems like step one of protecting your Infinity Stones.
I guess you'd have to have a plan if you're going to collect 6 Infinity Stones. Guys, don't make me beat up grass.
Yeah. Wait, what color was our stone in this one? It was purple, wasn't it?
It's
Yes.
purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, purple's the space gem, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, but at the same time,
Power's red.
but everybody's really sure that I think reality gem is the ether, and that the space gem is the Tesseract, and that the mind gem is Loki's staff.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm interested to see how they twist it around a little bit. I mean, they don't have to be accurate to the comics, but sorry, I'm in brainstorm mode now.
No, that's all right.
No, yeah, I was reading up on this earlier today, so
I'm completely lost there. Another thing I was kind of lost on during the film was the Hadron Enforcer. Is that just something that Rocket made up, or
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think so.
I think that was just what he was just kind of building in Quill's ship.
I'll be honest, when he gave that to Quill and Quill went to go shoot Ronan at the end, I was like, oh, is this going to be like the ex-wife in Iron Man 2?
Kind
No,
of.
it was a huge, freaking big explosion.
It worked
just
exactly
didn't work.
like it was supposed to.
Yes.
It just wasn't enough.
The
Yeah.
end effect was the same as the ex-wife in Iron Man 2, though.
right?
It's just that Ronan has become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. And then they had to Care Bear stare him down. Well, first was the dance off, and then the Care Bear stare.
That's
I'm
great.
distracting you, you turd blossom.
That was fantastic.
That honestly, that was my favorite Ronan moment in the whole movie. What are you doing?
That was my second favorite part of the whole movie.
The dance off.
Yes.
What was your first favorite part?
Groot's, oh no, you didn't gas.
No, there you go.
Okay, the little dancing Groot in a pot at the end,
Yes.
like over the credits. Okay, I want one of those.
How
You know
long
those
until they
little-
start selling them?
I know. This is what me and Scott were talking about after the movie. You know those little like plastic bobby flowers that you put in like a car thing, and when the sun comes out it bobs? I want one of those, but with Groot. Little baby Groot.
I don't know how long it's going to be before they start selling them. But
Also,
I'm
little
pretty,
baby Groot yawn.
But I'm pretty sure the answer is I am Groot.
Or we are Groot.
I wonder if you could, like those car sales have the wavy arm things. If
Yes.
you just painted one like Groot.
Wacky waving inflatable arm filling tube man.
Yes, except Groot.
Groot.
Seriously, Groot was just completely adorable.
He stole the movie.
Him and Rocket they were my favorite parts of the whole movie.
So who do you think would be more powerful, the Avengers or the Guardians?
See, the Avengers have
and
a
Avengers
literal
1 or
god.
2.
Yeah. But who's more likely to cheat in the fight? The Guardians.
Definitely.
Yeah, but they got a Hulk.
I put up a comparison on my Tumblr. It's like if the Avengers all had shirts that said keep calm and carry on, then the Guardians would have those shirts that say, and I'm sorry if you have to bleep this, break shit and freak out. No, freak out and break.
It's not inaccurate.
Yeah, that's pretty true. That's what I was thinking.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I was just there at work and, my mind was just not working like it does sometimes. It goes on automatic pilot. And I was like, huh. And it suddenly seems like a really profound thought.
So the reason I asked the question is because the Guardians minus Groot are holding hands, touching the Infinity Stone, space or power or whatever we decided it was.
Power.
And I don't think that the Avengers could pull that off.
As the great sage Kanye West once said, no one man should have all that power. No, really, those. I leaned over to my husband at that point. I said, they're sharing the neural load.
But here's the thing, though. Ronan himself is able to wield the gem, and he's just a Kree. You really don't think Thor could do it? A god?
Yeah, you're right. Thor probably could. If
The
not,
Hulk probably could too.
yeah.
Yeah. in Captain America, who has arguably some of the best willpower and, for lack of a better term, the greatest soul of any of the heroes there.
It'll be interesting because these two worlds are going to come together at some point in time.
If they pull it off, I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but you could have Guardians 2 be the first half of the Infinity Saga, and then Avengers 3 be the second half. Yeah.
Well, I was almost anticipating Tony Stark being like at the end of this one, and we didn't see it. But
they can't afford to have Robert Downey Jr. do it.
well, what would be the first link? Hulk?
If they do Planet Hulk.
Well,
yes.
Those masked aliens were Sakarans, which are the aliens who populate the planet where Hulk got shot to in Planet Hulk.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
See, I kind of thought the end scene might be like another dimension leading into Doctor Strange.
That's what I was thinking.
I was thinking it was going to be something with, like, we were going to get to see Star-Lord's father.
Yeah, or that.
Who's a being of light, according to his dying mom.
Well,
the other thing I thought they might do is do the Comic-Con footage of Avengers 2.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Because they purposely didn't show the post-credits stinger in all the showings before Thursday at midnight. No one had seen it until then. So I was like, ooh, they could save the Avengers footage and put that in there.
They can also change it up next weekend.
Yeah, they could. That'd be a way to make me spend more money.
It would. I'd go
Didn't
see it.
X-Men Origins do that?
No, there was a rumor that they were going to do that with X-Men Origins Wolverine, that it's going to be like 3 different things, but no,
there were
it's all
3
the same
different
one.
ones, I thought.
No,
I thought there were 2 different ones because when I went, I didn't see the Deadpool one.
Yeah, I didn't get the Deadpool one where I went either. I think that it was split differently between different theater chains or something like that.
Yeah, there were 2 different.
Okay, then the third one was just a rumor.
I think that
There's
might
a rumor
be it.
that there was 3 different ones. That I remember what it was. The quote unquote, the secret third one was supposed to be with Deadpool actually talking to the audience.
Strax style.
Well, or like, the Deadpool test footage that's out now.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So good.
So I'm just going to take a stab and say our consultant operator's favorite scene is when Gamora was in the short skirt at the end.
That dress was very, it reminded me of new Star Trek.
It did, Gamora, the whole film, she was a Uhura in this film.
I didn't think so.
I didn't think so at all.
A little bit more literal, but it just gave me the same vibe.
I didn't get that at all.
All right. Zoe Saldana in space. It's just, I guess it's the same for me. All right. You guys got anything else about the movie that you can remember off the top of your heads?
Anybody who didn't like Rocket and Groot is objectively wrong.
Objectively, yes.
I'm going to say that right here, right now. Come at me, bro. I will take you down.
So, Chris, did you have a favorite part of the movie?
Man, I need to see it again, honestly. At this point, I've done my first showing and I just enjoyed it. Now I need to go back and nitpick, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I went to see this with my sister the second time I saw it, and she wasn't really too crazy about seeing it. And about 15 minutes in, during some of the prison scene stuff, she was like, okay, this movie's not so bad.
Yeah.
So it won her over 15 minutes in.
I would probably be like your sister in that I went in trying to make the movie win me over, and by the time the prison came, I was totally bought in at that point.
Okay, I thought of what my favorite scene was. Towards the end, where Groot lights everything up with those spores.
Yes.
Such a beautiful scene, and I saw it in 3D. It was just gorgeous.
There's so many scenes in here. I saw it in 2D that I was looking at going, man, this could be really cool in 3D, and I generally hate it because it's a gimmick.
And also the Nova Corps shield.
Oh yeah.
I got just chills. It was that was
with the
that was
ships
good.
linking together.
Yes,
that was cool.
That was classic Guardians of the Galaxy sort of spiel, where you have giant, spans of tech and mechs and fleets and stuff like that. That was awesome. Marvel's definitely got in a thing about crashing big ships into cities, though.
They do.
The first Marvel movie where they didn't destroy New York.
Yeah, I kind of broke Harlem. So the scene where Groot gives the flower to the little girl in nowhere.
That was awesome.
Definitely going to be JS's ice cream moment of the movie, I think. But it was awesome. I was wondering if it was going to lead somewhere with the little girl later. I'm glad it didn't. She's in trouble or something later. And then I guess my favorite part was kind of in the movie and kind of part in the movie, kind of part in my head. When Drax, as they're escaping from the prison, and Star-Lord is coming out, and he says, "Behold." Well, later on, they're arguing, and he says, "I am not a princess." And immediately in my head, I went, "Oh, like Thor?" That was pretty cool. All right. So, as expected, we all have lists on ranking of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And since we've all just seen Guardians, this is probably not going to be our finale list, the list that we want to live with over time. It's our initial reaction list. And we have placed Guardians of the Galaxy in our rankings appropriately. But before we start, we ran into a story on MTV, and they did rankings. Actually, Chris brought this up. Thank you very much, Chris. And so their rankings, I'll start with 10 and then move up to 1. 10 is Iron Man 2. 9 is The Incredible Hulk. 8 is Thor. 7 is Thor: The Dark World. 6 is Iron Man 3. 5 is Captain America: The First Avengers. 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy. 3 is Iron Man. 2, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And number 1 is The Avengers. We probably can all nitpick that together, bits and pieces. We can agree and disagree, but we all actually have our individual lists. And Chris, you actually came up with a ranking list on your own, didn't you?
I've always sort of had one in the back of my head, but I put one down on paper for this.
Okay, so what is it?
Where do you want me to start from, 10 or 1?
Go 10.
All right, starting number 10, The Incredible Hulk. Number 9, Iron Man 2. Number 8, Thor. Number 7, Captain America: The First Avenger. Number 6, Thor: The Dark World. Number 5, Iron Man 3. Number 4, the newly released Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 3, Avengers. Number 2, Iron Man. And number 1, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
On your list, I just have to question Iron Man 3. Really? You really want to put that in the middle of your rankings?
I do.
All right.
I like it because it's so different from all the other stuff they've put out there until you had Guardians. It was a superhero movie that didn't feel like a superhero movie. It was more like a character study of Tony Stark.
And that's probably why I didn't like it. I like the superhero movies. But okay, I can't argue your point. Haley, where would you put Guardians on your list?
Well, I put it at number 3. So my top 4 right now is Avengers, and then Cap 2, then Guardians, then Iron Man. I'm not really sure about that. I know what's in the top 4. I just don't know where exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's at number 3.
And on your list, the one that I would question is Captain America: The First Avenger, which is number 5. We talked about it before, but that's just the one question I would have on your list.
To be fair, it's number 5 on my list, but I have 3 number 5s because I can't ever decide what order to put those ones in.
Fair enough. Lauren, where would you put Guardians of the Galaxy?
Okay, right now, it and Iron Man are kind of in a quantum flux for number 5 and 4.
Mm-hmm. Your list is the one list I would probably identify with the most. So I don't have any questions about your list, just personal preference on where you put Iron Man: Guardians of the Galaxy. Seems about right to me.
Yeah, again, I'm going to have to watch Guardians of the Galaxy a couple more times before I settle that one.
And there's no right or wrong answer to this. All 10 movies are very entertaining. Some are even legendary.
Yeah, none of them are flops. That's for sure.
Absolutely. None of these movies are, I will never watch them again. None of these movies will you find beef actually arguing on the Legends podcast that is absolute crap. Now, you might have differences on what you like and what you don't like, and we obviously have that. But see, now, I think Thor: The Dark World, I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was well put together. I thought that it took you deeper into the established Marvel Universe while giving us one heck of a story and then leaving us wanting more. And so I would put Thor: The Dark World above Guardians of the Galaxy. And just by coincidence of me ranking Iron Man 2 above Thor: The Dark World, just because I like the suits and everything, that puts Guardians of the Galaxy down at 6.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see Iron Man 2 at number 4 for you.
Yeah, it's just, after I watched it, I just really liked it and kept it up. But yeah, I could see that moving down over time, but I can't put Guardians of the Galaxy above Thor: The Dark World right now. Now, maybe...
So, a prime example of SP is wrong.
There you go. Call our voicemail line at 844-THE-BUS-1 and argue your point here and perhaps get a chance at Coulson's badge. So, there's our rankings. I will put them in the show notes so everybody can see them. Next week, we will be talking the San Diego Comic-Con news. We didn't talk really any news that has come out about San Diego Comic-Con. There was a ton of Marvel news that came out. I know Legends has already discussed it a little bit. And then, Chris, you guys have discussed it on ATGN and GonnaGeek, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to discuss that a little bit, as well as the actual panel of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. next week. And we're got a lot of fun stuff between now and when the series starts at season 2.
And we'd like to hear what you guys thought of Guardians too. So feel free to call in.
Yes, call in. And we have a voicemail. Star Saber sent us another voicemail, and let me pull it up here and we'll play it.
Hey guys, this is Adam. Just got home from Guardians of the Galaxy, and I liked it for the most part. It didn't really connect as much to the rest of the Marvel Universe as I had hoped, which I'll probably change my mind on after a few more movies. I mean, Rocket and Groot really stole the show, as I expected, and I liked Peter Quill a lot more when he was played by Ben Browder. Okay, I'm mostly joking there, but there were some definite similarities with Farscape. Can't wait to hear what you guys think. Talk to you later. Bye.
So what do you guys think of the Peter Quill, Ben Browder comparison with Farscape?
I told y'all ever since I started seeing previews and trailers and images, I was getting a Farscape vibe, and it continued.
Yeah.
But I love Farscape, and I love this. So
yeah, we just had CG instead of puppets. So
yeah, it works.
No complaints. But yeah, there was definitely a little bit of that kind of snarky Earthling thing going on.
So thank you very much for the voicemail. I anticipate there would be a lot more voicemails next week. We'll see on Guardians of the Galaxy. I know a lot of people are planning to go see it or already have and just haven't called in yet. So make sure you call in. Let us know what you think. We'll probably still be talking about it on Thursday. Chris, thank you very much for joining us this week. This was great to have you along in all your comic knowledge.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was fun.
Maybe we'll do it again sometime. So with that, until next week, I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Haley.
I'm Lauren.
And I'm Chris.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to GonnaGeek.com and you will find all of our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com, where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Legends, Stream, or GonnaGeek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation. No infringement is intended.